All right. So oh my gosh. Hello everyone and welcome to the Question Cave. We'll be answering the questions that you leave in our Discord in the Question Cave channel or in the live stream chat. If you have any questions after the live stream, please feel free to leave them in our Discord. I'm Abby. I'm a programming sub lead this year.
I'm Caden, and I'm a programming student this year.
Um, my name is Jack, and I'm also a programmer.
And I'm Ed. I'm behind the camera, going to be giving them the questions you guys ask. And I am a functional programming lead.
Alright, so first off, we're going to talk a bit about autonomous. First, with how we use it with Advantage Kit. Caden, would you like to start?
I think Jack should start.
Okay, so for Advantage Kit, we also use it to help us log numbers and help visualize our robot and all the information about it to help making testing a lot easier.
Alright. In Advantage Kit, you can view and simulate autonomous paths just like how you can with Teleop. In Advantage Scope, you can set up a ghost robot that you can compare where your robot is versus where it should be. This is really helpful, especially when debugging and when trying to tune your PIDs.
Another topic we would like to talk about is how we use autonomous in Path Planner. So we use Path Planner created by Team 3015, which helps us create our paths and helps us visualize our paths so we know where the robot is actually going.
Alright, so like Kaden said, we use Path Planner to create our paths. You can download it from the Microsoft Store or the Mac Store. In Path Planner, you can create your paths, and it will automatically create a file in your code for you to use. A new thing with Path Planner from last year, we are currently using event markers that you can set it up, you can name it and set it up to a command that it will run that command when it hits that event marker. We learned this year actually, that it will not stop the code, will stop the autonomous path. It will run the command while the robot's still running.
Yeah, I don't really have much to say about that right now.
Alright, so autonomous helped us last year. Kaden, would you like to explain about that?
So basically, last year, autonomous helped us. Well, last year we really focused on autonomous and trying to do that to the best of our ability. And eventually, you know, we had one of the best autonomouses out there, and that's one of the ways we were able to. Oh, we practiced and we worked really hard to uh, to program the autonomous, and eventually that led us to winning the autonomous award at the Wisconsin Regional.
Alright, so Jack, do you want to talk about how we had autonomous last year?
Yes. So, we have had autonomous features, not strictly for the first 15 seconds of the match, but we also did stuff for endgame that was automated for us. So we had our arms, and we kind of used a bit of a state machine to help us have endgame a lot simpler, where we just held a button and it would climb for us. And that made it a lot easier to do, because if we let go, the robot would automatically remember where we are. We could just press it again, and it would continue climbing for us, and then it know when it's at the top and it'll stop climbing.
Yeah, the state machine is pretty much just like a save button, where if you were to let go of the button, it would stop, but then if you were to hold it back down again, it would remember where it was and would continue going. Another topic that we would like to cover today is any struggles with the camera. So, I guess struggles with our camera. Struggles with our camera. Basically, uh, it was kind of difficult to actually uh, the camera I'm talking about is the photon limelight vision or camera. So it was very hard to calibrate that because sometimes the image would be flipped and it'd be just very hard to actually calibrate it because if you were to go left, it would go up, and then if you were to go down, it would go right. And it was also kind of difficult connecting it to our computer because we had to like change a whole bunch of settings, and to do that every time, you can kind of miss a step and get lost in the process.
All right, so I see there's a question in our live stream chat, and it is, do you guys have any tips on managing sort of battery consumption? One thing we have this year is a voltage limit, which you can set it to, we have it to -12 or 12, which is the battery voltage. And then we also learned that newer batteries have been coming with a less than what we usually have for battery voltage. So another thing that I wanted to add about autonomous is that this year we are actually wanting to add a board where we can autonomously, we as the drive station can press a point and then our robot will drive over to where that is on the field and then it will go there. And we also have an auto balance that once you drive onto the charging station, the driver can push a button and it'll auto balance on the charging station for you. We have another question, and it is, what kind of things can a state machine do on the field? Would you like to explain that, Kaden?
So a state machine, like I said before, it's basically like a save button. But if we were to use it in this year's game, I'd say we would probably use it when we are transporting cubes and cones. Like if we were to like take our finger off the button and it would just stop, we could hit it again and then it would continue picking up the cone and then putting it on the shelf.
That was really piggybacking off of my idea, what I explained with the autonomously picking up a cone and driving it back to the scoring zone.
If you guys have any questions, feel free to just put them into the chat so we can answer them.
We have another question, and it is, could command base be considered a state machine?
I think Jack can answer this one.
Yes, command base is like a state machine. It can help you learn if you try and help understand state machines if you use command base. Um, I don't know a whole lot about it, but do you have anything else?
No, but again, command base is really a good start when you're trying to learn state machines.
I think someone in the Discord asked, are there any troubles with other parts of the robot that you guys have been having this year?
We've had a lot of problems with the autonomous not going in the direction that we wanted. You have to make sure in Path Planner that there's like a white dot that you can like move around. You have to make sure that is pointing in the direction that you want to go and not in the middle of the robot or facing the direction that it's coming from, because it'll get confused and not go the direction that you want it to. And you also have to make sure that your alliance color is set up properly. Just things to remember
Yeah,
for
because like
doing autonomous.
when I set up the robot, with my sub team, we had trouble because we picked the blue path, and we actually built the red side of the field. So just make sure you have the right things picked for the right things.
Alright, there is another question in the live stream chat, and it is other alternatives to Path Planner.
I think there are other ones. I believe Weaver is one. Can you look out to make sure? Um, yeah. I don't have. Yeah. So yeah, Weaver.
Pathweaver.
Yeah, Pathweaver 2813. Yeah, you can find a tutorial for that. I don't know much about it because I'm used to Path Planner. I would say maybe try and check it out because I think it's fairly easy to use. Just click on screen, gives you a waypoint on where you want the robot to go. You can change angles on it, so then you can customize it how you want. You can also change like max acceleration and velocity, so it makes it a lot easier to deal with speed and stuff like that.
Yes, we found out that Path Planner for our team works best for us, but finding out what works best for your team is most important.
Yeah, for sure.
And then someone asked in the Discord, are there any like strategies you guys have thought of for these paths to create?
Yes, actually, when creating the paths, we talked to strategy and we came up with having our robot always start from where one of the cubes is scored, so we can name them like middle, left, or right, and you know exactly where to put it. And then keeping naming conventions very accurate to what the paths are is very important.
Okay, I know you said middle, left, and right, but on each side of the field it's different for the left and right. Is there a way to differentiate what side of the field the robot's on?
Well, yes, but you can name it differently if that's what you want, but the path should reflect to the other side of the other side of the field if you just tell it what alliance you're on.
Yeah, when we're making our paths, well, we have to consider a lot of things, like if we're picking up cubes and cones, or cubes or cones, where we're going to be starting on the field, if we're going to already be starting holding a cube or cone, and if we'll place it on there, and then like if we will be able to make it onto the, what's it called,
The charging station.
charge station, yeah.
So adding on a little bit to what they're saying, Path Planner has the ability to detect, alliance color and can invert your path. So you can just create one path for like the blue side. Then if you say and just add a bit of code and say you're on the red alliance now, it will automatically invert that path for you to do the same thing that the original path is doing, but on the red side. So you could add a little bit of a naming convention to just say you're on the red side if it can detect you're on the red alliance.
Alright, we have another live stream chat, and it asks, have you guys ever used any of those alternates? I haven't personally used anything other than Path Planner, but you seem to taken a look into Pathweaver, but on our team, we've only used Path Planner.
Yeah, it would. Me personally, I would just stick to Path Planner. It's really easy to use, and it's kind of like a where you should start. I think it just because it's easy to use doesn't mean that it's limiting in function. But I would definitely strongly recommend Path Planner.
Uh, yeah, if your team doesn't want to use Path Planner or find something else easier, you can go ahead with that. It doesn't really matter. That's just our personal preference on what we would like our code to do.
Alright, so what are some of the common issues with Path Planner? I have not personally had a lot of issues with Path Planner. It's very user friendly and it converts to our code very well. Just making sure things like your velocity, your acceleration, your lines team, and all of that stuff is very important to make this application that you can use um, to actually work.
Yeah, with Path Planner, you could come across some issues with specific settings, because like we said before, there are specific settings that will stop the robot if you want to run a command, because normally it'll just skip right through and continue moving along the path if you even want to run a command. So you have to structure it properly, and that may take a couple of tries, but you can get used to it and get it fairly quickly.
Alright, so we have another question, and it is, so you guys use command base. Are there alternates to this? We personally, for this team, we use command base and have not used anything other than command base, but I'm sure there are other alternates to using um, command base. Alright, there's another question. It is, how often do you tweak paths in Path Planner during competitions? Well, we tweak our paths according to how much the path needs to be tweaked. If it's a very good path and it's running consistently and working, we won't need to tweak that as much as we need to fix other paths. It all really depends on what the path is. Like for this year, a path that goes and scores a cone and then grabs another cone is going to be needed to be changed less than one that's going to score a cone, get a cube or something, and come back, score that, and then go onto the charging station, because that has a lot of more points that will be needed to be changed. Alright.
Okay. How another question is how do you use commands in a path and Path Planner? Um, so I believe they're called markers that you can add into the path, and you can name it something to relate to what you're doing. Then in the in code wise, you can have it just when it recognizes that marker's name, you can then have it do a specific command in relation. Like for ours, we might want to autonomously balance, which have an auto balance command. So at the end, when we try and balance, we can add a marker there, name it something like auto balance. Then our code, whenever it sees that marker that's named that, just runs the auto balance command, and that works for us.
You can also add multiple commands to one of these markers. It'll just run it like a sequential command group, or like you can do a parallel command group. Also, you have your freedom with that. And then there's another question. Are there any problems with the markers in Path Planner? Other than the fact that it won't stop the path, but will run the command while it's moving. Other than that, we don't have any problems with using the markers in Path Planner.
I know there is one issue with the auto balance command that we're working on, which uses our swerve drive. Can you explain what the problem was with those, with our markers?
So when we would try and use a marker in our autonomous path, it didn't really work because it doesn't want to use the the swerve drive as a command while you're doing autonomous. So I'm not entirely sure how we did that. Did we just do it after the autonomous path that was done and just ran it a little bit separately? Um, but yeah, that's how we try to fix that issue.
Alright, so I'm not seeing any more questions in the Discord or in the live stream chat, so I'm going to wrap it up, and thank you guys for coming to watch the stream. If you have any remaining questions, please do not forget to leave them in our Discord. Our next question cave will be the first Saturday of March at 1 p.m. Central, and we hope to see you guys there.